assistant work?
Well, it did.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent, that's good.
So excited.
So I've got that going for me now.
You do. That's perfect.
I
They
like
can-
the
people
rest.
can decide.
You had an assistant all this time and you didn't even know it.
Meeting today,
So it's
just
gonna be like the 12th.
started talking to me and said, we have a meeting in half an hour.
Where are you?
So it's not a shut full.
Well, we showed him how to use Siri as a
Yeah.
remind me.
Oh,
I said, you've had an assistant all these years and you didn't even know it.
I say it's here to the doctor during the meeting.
As long as I'm not more than a half hour away.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, I gotta call it. Call the meeting to order. I want to acknowledge that the Smokeman Valley, in which we learn, work, and organize, is the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Smokeman people, and home of the Upper Smokeman Indian Band. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Thank you, Councilor McLean, seconder. Councilor Willis, all in favor? That is carried. Adoption of the minutes from December 17th, regular meeting of council.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Elliott, seconder. Gould. Errors and omissions, all in favor? That is carried. And the January 13th special meeting of council minutes. Thank you, McLean. Willis, errors and omissions, all in favor, carried. And we now have a petition, or delegation, from the regional district. Wayne is here to give us the budget roadshow, slideshow deck. All yours, Wayne.
Perfect. So how long do I have?
Well, you're supposed to have 15, but
Okay, perfect. I can get her done in 15.
Just give her. I'm not gonna be like our neighbors and give you 5.
You heard about
I
it.
hope they heard that.
All right, so we're going to start off here with the RDOS's commitment to our clients. The RDOS is dedicated to providing the highest level of service to our valued clients. The RDOS is committed to maintaining our service quality and at affordable cost. The RDOS understands the importance of financial stability for our clients, and we pledge to keep our service costs affordable, ensuring that any increases will not materially affect the client's budget from year to year. The RDOS strives to foster long-term relationships built on trust, transparency, and mutual respect. So just a little bit of what regional districts are. We're corporations formed through the Lieutenant Governor in letters patent. The letters patent outline the geographical area, which includes municipalities and electoral areas. The power of the regional district is through the Board of Directors. The Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen has 9 electoral areas and 6 municipalities. It has 20 members on the board, 11 of whom are elected by the municipalities and 9 from the electoral areas. Regional districts are not taxing authorities. The province taxes citizens in the electoral areas. The regional districts do not tax municipalities. Municipalities tax citizens in their boundaries on behalf of the regional district. What the regional district does is we manage and supply services to the citizens. Some services are legislated, like general government and telecommunications, and other services are by choice and only created through public assent process, like recreation. Regional services. The majority of electoral areas and municipalities would participate and all properties would contribute. The examples are general government, emergency management, regional trails, and regional transit. There's rural services where only the properties in the electoral area contribute. No municipalities would participate, and examples are electoral area administration, electoral area planning, building inspection, and bylaw enforcement. Then there's shared services where only those participants in the service contribute. An example here for Princeton is some fire protection is extended to Area H. Then there's local services where only a defined group of properties within the electoral area contribute, and examples are water and wastewater systems. Differences between municipalities and regional districts. Municipalities have 3 to 5 budgets, where regional districts have to have a budget for every service. Separate budgets ensure that only those participating contribute, and each budget is self-sustaining. So for 2026, the regional district has 162 operating budgets and 62 capital budgets. The budget process starts in June, where the managers set the baseline requirements. It then goes to the board committee workshops in November and December, with the extra asks for program change requests, staffing requests, and full-time equivalency requests. Once those are approved by the board, it goes to first reading in January, which happened on January 8th. And then once that happens, it comes to public engagement. The budget must be adopted before March 31st, but it can be changed by the directors all the way up until third reading and adoption. The only things that can't be changed are things that were given early approval, which we will see in a little bit. This is the budget comparison from first reading this year to adoption last year. There's 57.83 of operational expenses, 8.3 of municipal debt, 49.67 of capital projects, for a total of $115 million. Of the $57 million in new operational expense, there's 1.36 attributed to the new services brought online in 2026. 3 of those services are in Okanagan Falls area, Area D. That's Vintage View Sewer, Lakeshore Water, and Skaha Estates Water. And only the people in those service areas would contribute to that. The other one was Similkameen Transit Route 50, which affects Princeton. That's the bus service between Princeton and Penticton. So the contributors for that service are the town of Princeton, the village of Karameas, Area H, which is rural Princeton, Area B, which is rural Coston, and Area G, which is rural Headley and rural Karameas. Of the $49.67 million in capital projects, $34.7 million are carry forwards, and $20 million of that is for the organics processing facility. Of the $57 million, $29.56 million is from tax requisition. That's an increase of 1.179, which works out to a 4.88% increase after non-market growth for the whole of the RDOS. Inside the operational expenses, there's $4.3 million of transfers to reserve, which works out to 7.5% of the operational budget. This slide here shows each municipality and electoral area's portion of the $29 million. And if we look, Princeton right there is contributing $194,000 currently, which is a $34 million or $34,000 change, which works out to a 21.54% increase. After non-market growth is a 19.92% increase. Non-market growth is an increase in tax base based on assessed value from new construction and improvements. So what this does is it spreads the increase of two new contributors, helping lower the burden on existing taxpayers. A simple example here is if a service requires $100,000 to operate and has 100 homes in the service area, assessed at $1 million apiece, there's $100 million assessed value. That means each homeowner would have to pay $1,000 a year. If that service increased 5%, so it now costs $105,000 to operate, but there was 20 homes built in that area, the assessed value jumps to $120 million, which means homeowners now pay $875 a year. So a service may increase, but the actual impact on a homeowner may decrease. This slide here shows a visual representation of what each municipality and electoral area's contribution would look like. And if we see Princeton is close to the bottom, second from the bottom there.
Who's below us? PIB, right?
And then if we were to spread that per capita, Princeton jumps up one spot to third. So you'll see a line on the budgets called support costs. So what support costs are the costs associated with keeping the organization going, such as utilities, maintenance of the head office, yearly financial audit, safety audits, insurance, and some software licensing. So what it is there's 6 support departments: human resources, legislative services, communications, finance, corporate facilities, and information services. So all those costs are exclusive of wages except for corporate facilities. There is some wages for a maintenance worker in that budget. The board's policy distributes 88% of the support cost to the operational plan and another 12% to the capital plan. There's no support costs charged on debt servicing, carried forwards, or transfers to reserve. This is a visual representation of the support departments and how they increased from last year being the blue and this year being the orange. You'll notice that communications has been split out from legislative services in 2026. And then you'll also notice a large increase in the information services. This is primarily due to the software licensing costs, because the software industry has gone from an ownership model to a fee-for-service model. So we now have to pay, instead of paying one lump sum, we actually pay for each computer or each license every year. Now we'll just go into the requests that were brought forward to the board. There were 8 regional grant and aid requests requested. 4 have been given preliminary approval. The Okanagan-Similkameen Conservation Alliance was declined as they had received funding 2 of the last 4 years. They can apply again in 2027. The Similkameen Country Development Association self-removed their request before the workshop. There were a total of 8 FTE requests. The first request for a senior energy specialist is a grant-approved position, which means it does not affect taxation. The cybersecurity analyst was given early approval, and anything given early approval is highlighted in green and cannot be removed before third reading. The scale attendant, number 5, is also a user fee position, which means it doesn't affect taxation. The cemetery and parks clerk is a 6-month temporary position. The electoral area coordinator position is a 1-year trial, and that is only paid through the electoral areas, no municipalities. The fire services manager was given early approval, and that figure of $210 includes the purchase of a truck. Then there were program change requests. These were brought forward for any service that exceeded the 4% maximum that was mandated by the board at the budget process. The VRR stands for Vehicle Replacement Reserve. PCR 5 and 6 were rejected by the directors. PCR 7 had a director modified contribution level. PCR 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 17 were all deemed operationally required, and they were already included in the workshop budget figures, but it was brought forward to the board as it did increase the services more than the 4%. PCR 16 was removed by the CAO before workshop, and PCR 18 was rejected by the directors because the society had found alternate funding for that project. PCR 22 was rejected by the director. PCR 30 had a scope change by the director, so the request was no longer net neutral, being that all court revenue is going into reserve. PCR 31 was rejected by the director. PCR 32 had a contribution modification. PCR 33 was a net neutral, so there was no taxation increase. And PCR 37 was removed as the BC Tree Fruits artifacts had found a home in Kelowna. These are the capital projects that affect everyone. You may not know, but the RDOS has bought a new corporate office on Skaha Lake Road, which requires some renovation. Once the renovation is done, the 3 staffing locations in Penticton will move under one roof, and the old building will be sold, which will offset the costs of the new building. The 911 emergency call system had some carry forward projects, which are highlighted in yellow. Emergency planning also highlighted in yellow as a carry forward, and information services was due to moving into the new building. The RDOS had been mandated to buy curbside carts for their collection system this year. This curbside cart storage is to house the extra bins which we bought to take advantage of the discounts. Regional Trails has a Similkameen Trail upgrade project which requires borrowing. That has to go to public assent before it can be actioned. Now the good stuff, what pertains to Princeton. Here's Princeton's breakdown of the tax
Can
requisition.
you make that bigger?
You will notice
Can you try
that
to make that bigger?
Transit Similkameen Route 50 is the new one on this list, which increases up to $16,000. This will be offset through the municipal portion of taxes that the municipality is going to collect, as they no longer will have to collect for transit.
I think the other big one is 911, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to these guys, what that is?
911 emergency call system is all the infrastructure, the towers that go into the 911 system. So they're placed throughout the whole region, and we have been doing upgrades to them, and it's the maintenance cost on those 911 towers. Yes, and most of that is, well, not most of it. There's the bigger increases due to the debt servicing that was approved last year when they borrowed $800,000 to do a bunch of the improvements on the antennas.
So that increases the interest, the cost of borrowing?
Well, we're feeling the full amount that we borrowed, where in 2025 it was only a partial year. 2026 it's the full year of debt servicing.
So 911 service is one of those things that is
Everybody
mandated
pays into it.
that we have to pay into, and we're responsible for all the infrastructure as well as the contract to with Ecom and all those guys. So we have to bear our portion of this.
So the regional district manages all of it for the town of Princeton too? Is that, and then this is
The
paid
infrastructure, yes.
back?
So this budget, just so you understand, like, this isn't actually coming from the town of Princeton. We just collect it on behalf of the regional district, and then we send it to the regional district. So this doesn't actually come from the town.
But it
It's the
affects or supports the municipality?
yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
like, why would the municipality be taxed? Also, there's an increase in the general government too, so what's that?
You will see a decrease at second reading a little bit on that, but that is primarily due to the IT hire that we've hired for cybersecurity.
So every municipality and regional
Everybody
district
pays,
is getting
yeah.
this substantial increase?
Yeah. Yeah, also the support costs went up due to the software licensing that we were seeing with information services. So that's borne by all the budgets, and general government is one of the higher budgets that it would hit. General government is spread out between every single electoral area based on assessed value, and electoral area and municipality. So of the total general government, if we go back, no, I don't have it on this page, sorry, it's on Schedule F. You'd be able to see what the percentage of Princeton's portion of that would be. Penticton pays around 42% of whatever's in general government, where I believe Princeton is closer to 3%, I think, of the overall. Does that sound about right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So the portion is based on our total assessed value?
Assessed value of the whole region.
Of the town of Princeton, or of Area H and the town of Princeton?
That service is done by the whole RDOS assessed value, so that includes Penticton, includes Narmada, includes
But
all
then
those areas.
broken out and charged back?
And then charged at the prorated percent. So whatever Princeton's portion of the total RDOS is, that's how much of the percentage would be. So I think, yeah, because if it's $1 million, you're paying 6% at 64,000. So the overall taxation for the town of Princeton is $194,000, an increase of $34,000. The tax requisition increase of 21.54%, after non-market growth 19.92%. And again, the most of that is coming from transit, which will be offset by your municipal taxes. So somebody living in Princeton is probably going to pay close to what they paid last year, I'm guessing.
Because we used to pay about 98%. How much did we pay before of Route 50? It was about 98%?
Yeah, it was over 90 anyway,
Yeah,
so.
so the percent of it, now it's being split between all of us. And so now, rather than the town of Princeton itself paying for that route, the regional district's paying for it, and we pay our percentage of that route.
And then it's still a fee for use service.
Yeah, it's still BC Transit, so it's still run that way.
Okay.
And transit services are also very heavily subsidized by the province. Even though we pay a portion, we probably don't even pay the amount that it costs for the drivers. Right, the province heavily subsidizes transit.
Yeah, and then we do get a grant from Interior Health to run that run as well, so.
Yeah.
That grant has now been moved over to the regional district as well.
Okay. So the explanation of the 19.92%, which was gonna be my question, increase is increasing, changing the transit,
Yeah.
increasing the IT services, and then the fee for
The
each
911.
use, and then the 911.
Yeah.
So not
Yeah.
just a.
But over 50% of the increase is from transit, but you will also see that 50%, you'll see whatever was increased by transit, you'll see that savings on the municipal side. So really it's,
16,000.
what's that?
16,360.
Right, but
No, it
what
was like
was, but what was the municipal transit last year?
Oh, that I don't.
Yeah, it's.
I'm guessing
it's-
it was probably 60-ish, maybe?
No, I think that program was about 90,000.
90,
What
so,
was- What was our transit last year?
Yeah, our transit was approximately 150.
Yeah. so
That
about
covers the
98.
in-town service and the Route 50. They don't break total cost down by route, but yeah, we'll notice a decrease in our requisition. Now, it was discussed that there might be some improvements to local services, so that might subsidize that. So we haven't changed the municipal budget yet for that transit run, but until the local services are improved, we should notice a decrease in that budget.
So not just inflation.
No,
no.
we changed the way we were doing business, so. Anybody have any other questions? Is that better than 5 minutes?
That was pretty good. I didn't have to talk as fast.
I do actually have another question. It wasn't really in here about the fire, but it was discussed that the fire
Oh.
protection had changed.
Yeah, can you actually maybe, I don't know which one of you is better to talk about that, but the fire,
The rule for Area H,
no,
Fire manager?
that position.
Fire
Just so they-
services manager.
You had quickly said that it includes a change in fire protection in the town and area. I'm not sure how that, because we have our own fire department, so I just wondering what does that?
Yeah, it's more of management of the 9 electoral area fire halls, not the municipal fire halls. But they will be working in conjunction to see what kind of cost savings we can get with things like training and equipment and things like
And then
that.
they
It also does with the 911 system. They will be doing some 911 stuff, so that's part of that. Increase in 911 is also for that fire services manager wage, a portion of that. I believe 35% went to E911 and emergency management, and the rest is for electoral area fire departments only. So there will be nothing on the Princeton Fire Hall for having this fire services manager.
But we do have a separate agreement for cost sharing for.
Yeah, they pay, it's a fee for service right now, right? Is that how that works?
And the boundary extension, that's its own.
Oh, that's its own thing. That won't have anything to
Yeah.
do with the fire services.
This is a management type position to manage the regional district fire departments, because right now each department operates independent of one another. So this will help coordinate all that, but then it'll also look after part of the 911 service, because right now we have one person and we need to have somebody else who's doing it as like kind of off the side of their desk, along with 5 or 6 other things that he does. So this will be a person that can take on that role as well, so.
But it's included in that
Yeah.
911 line item.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're still, out of the regional district, we're still the lowest paying member of the regional district And then PIB's lower than us, but they just buy a couple services off of the regional district, so.
Yeah, because we're not part of that regional district substantial increase when it comes to solid waste collection.
No.
No, because you
our-
run your own system, yeah.
Yeah, well, even Area H
Yeah.
doesn't get the pickup.
We're the only two areas that are part of that. So, okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to stay, it'll be about another 5 minutes. We'll be done.
It's my kind of meeting.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Okay, thanks. We'll move on to the next one. Staff report for the Clare Jester. Jared.
Thank you. This is for replacement of the Clare Jester RBC. It's our sewer treatment facility that takes care of Westridge subdivision. It's at about, what are we saying here, about 32 years in service. That's quite a long time actually. The manufacturers say they're usually good for about 20 years. We haven't had any major things with like just routine maintenance, all that kind of stuff. It's just at the point where the major components are just at the point of failure. And that's not from a lack of maintenance, it's just the environment that everything sits in with the effluent like that, it just attacks metal, right? So it's at the point where it needs replacement. Components are at the point of failure, so it could just like kind of fall down inside of the thing and just not work, and then we'd have huge costs at that point. So yeah, I'm asking for the replacement of the RBC unit itself.
And you want to take that money from the
Yes, so
borrowing money?
we were talking before, I was speaking with finance, and we can take this from the $7 million borrowing. There has been interest that has been adding to that, and that can be taken care of from the interest and still be able to do our other projects.
Questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Jared, when do you hope to have this work start if the contract's awarded?
It takes a while for them to build it, like a few months. So once it's awarded, they'll just jump on the construction of it, and then as soon as it's done, they'll just come and plug it in.
And
Next
then,
summer?
Yeah, early.
Early summer?
Yeah.
and then how long to complete it? And is there a planned disruption to residents at all?
There won't be really, because the thing itself is a chamber, so we'll have to use pumper trucks to suck it out. But there's a lot of capacity in there, so it really wouldn't hinder any residents.
And then when I was looking at the proposal, like your report says that it includes a 5% contingency.
Yeah.
And then their quote had said, same, that there's GST on it. So does the town of Princeton pay GST?
No, in my numbers that I provided, I took GST off of their
Okay.
number, and then just contingency on there. I don't see that we'll need that, but just in case.
And then, so are you going with the option of like where they handle the storage? I think that's what it said, option to have a secondary storage while it dried out, and they would handle the movement of that
In
during
conjunction.
the transfer.
Yeah, no, it, like I said, it'll still be sort of working, but we'll just have to use pumper trucks. And we won't be able to put a tank in there for storage or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should put it.
Yeah.
So we're not anticipating any like, okay, we're shutting down the sewer for a few days while you guys, so
No.
try not to use it.
We might ask for limited use
Limited
if possible,
use,
but
okay.
yeah, it won't be a full shutdown.
Sorry, yeah, it had said field service option where they did the trucking, the crane offload, storage until the unit dries out, disassemble and dispose, so.
Oh yeah, so for the unit to dry out, that's taking the existing RBC out somewhere, because if you take it out, it's wet, it's full of effluent and stuff like that, so we would store it maybe up at I guess we would probably just go to the sewer lagoon up on top there, store it until it dries out, and it's safe to
And then
transfer.
take to the landfill,
Yeah.
okay, so that's all inclusive of all
Yeah.
that, perfect, that's good news.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Second by McLean. Any other questions? All in favor? Carried. 6.2, appointment of an auditor. James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, it's the annual appointment of the auditor, according to the Business Corporations Act and the Community Charter. We did an RFP, as it's been 5 years since we last sent it to tender. We had 3 bids in for position of municipal auditor. We decided to go with KPMG again this year as a staff recommendation. Typically, we would start to try and move to a different firm after about 10 years. However, we did have a switch from the KPMG Kamloops office to the KPMG Vernon office. All the people from partner right down senior accountant to junior accountants are all different, so it is a different perspective on our municipal finance systems. They came in considerably less expensive, and with their experience and reach and capabilities, we think it's a fine appointment. So we're asking council to appoint Murray Smith from KPMG as the auditor for the 2025 fiscal year.
Thank you. Questions?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded. Yep, somebody second it, and you can ask questions.
I'll second.
Gould to second it. Questions, Gould?
Just, you did an RFP, is it for a 5-year term? Or is it just for the 1 year?
The RFP listed it for a 3-year term,
For 3 years, okay. So just the motion didn't say.
with the option to extend another 2 to put it to 5.
Okay, so it could be,
3, 4, or 5 at the town's discretion.
so for the motion, recommended motion is for the 2025 year, should it be 25, 26, 27?
No, because the Business Corporations Act and the Community Charter require us to appoint an auditor every year.
Okay. So not a 3-year term. Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor? Carried. Council reports. Start with Councillor Willis, so you can get it over with and
I
stop
have
talking.
nothing exciting to report right now, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Gould.
Nothing to
Thank you. Councillor McLean.
Just a comment on holiday decorations in the downtown. I thought it was amazing. Great show. That's my full extent of my report.
Councillor Elliott.
A couple of meetings, last couple of weeks I've been in Caramias for subcommittee meetings with the Gristmill Operations Society. Pretty exciting things happening there. And this morning I was on a remote meeting with the Canadian Mental Health Association, South Okanagan, Similkameen. I represent the Similkameen Valley on that board. And again, exciting things going on there. As you know, a program has been offered here in town as a result of that board, and it's been met with great success. And that's all I've got to report.
Thank you.
What were the exciting things to do with the gristmill?
Some very interesting changes that are going to hopefully lead to some very big things. The mill site celebrates 150 years in 2027, so ramping up to make a big celebration leading up to that.
Okay. Thank you. Trying to remember when last time we met. So in the last couple of weeks, I've had SVPS meeting, regional district meeting, SILGA meetings, what is it, immigration partnership meeting where I didn't really understand what they were talking about. There's some changes coming to it, so they're giving us a rundown how the changes are happening, but I didn't really understand what they were talking about. So there was like 200 people on that meeting, so I was like, I'll just ask later. So right now we have local immigration partnerships, and they're individual, and it seems like what they're doing is centralizing some of that, because with the changes that have come out of Ottawa with the reduction in immigration and all that, all the funding for the language programs and the immigrant settlement programs, the work programs have all dried up, and it's making it harder to be able to support new immigrants to the community. So they're they're trying to restructure so everybody can still be supported. But I was like one of like 3 politicians on it, and the rest were all like council members from the immigration councils, and I was like, I don't know. So, I had a meeting with the MLA last week when she was in town. And today I met with the new communication liaison with the mine. And yesterday I sat through I went to the hazard risk sub-region committee for the regional district. It's part of a provincial mandate to look at, identify hazards and risks and the vulnerabilities to communities. So the whole Similkameen was there, and we worked on what they were for our communities, and they're going to take them back and then study them further. So other than that, I think that's my...
I think Mason, you were on the news yesterday, Mr. Mayor.
Oh yes, I was on the news yesterday. Again, the MP used my name in a letter to the Premier or Prime Minister, so the news called. And it's about funding for dikes, which we still have none. So, yeah, that's all I got. Yep.
I heard that the ELR application for the above the airport had gone through.
With conditions.
So what's the next step?
Staff are meeting tomorrow to discuss the next steps
With
amongst ourselves,
the staff?
just the staff.
And then I'll bring a report to council.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Last thing is official community plan amendment bylaw, 3rd reading. That's what we just did at the public hearing.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So second. Elliot, Willis, last chance to ask questions on that. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. No new business, so I'm going to now ask for motion to close, that the meeting be closed to the public for the purpose considered 90.1C labor relations and other employee relations.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor McLean, seconded by Councilor Cool.
Second.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And with that, I will say, see you later, Internet.